Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll dive deep into data types in Python one by one, and we'll start with the numbers in this video. A number in Python is either an integer or a float. Integers are whole numbers, whether positive or negative. And these are the examples: 2, -3, -40, 56, 1, and so on and so forth. And a float is a number with a decimal points, like 9.0, 4.2, 3.0, so on and so forth. You can check the type of a number or type of any object in Python using the type function. And whatever object you want to check its type, we define it within this parenthesis of the type function. Let's say we want to check the type of 4.9. We know that any number with a decimal point is a float, right? So let's print this onto the screen using the print function. Print the type of 4.9 on the screen. Let's run our file. And Python will tell us this 4.9 is of type float because it has a decimal point. We can check the type of a whole number, maybe 9. Let's run again. So it is returning int, which stands for an integer. So any whole number, whether positive or negative, is an integer in Python. Let's also talk about some arithmetic operations you can perform on numbers. The first one is addition using the plus sign to add two numbers, subtraction using the minus sign, division using a forward slash. We also have floor division using two forward slashes, and we'll see the difference between this division and this floor division in a bit. We also have multiplication using asterisks. We also have exponents, and we use this exponent when you are raising a power to a number. We also have modulus to check the remainder of a number. Let's talk about the addition first. So we can add two numbers. For example, 4 plus 2 using the plus sign. We know this basic mathematical operation, right? Let's store it in a variable called num. And let's print num onto the screen in the print function. If you run our file, it's going to give us 4 plus 2, which is 6. So it has returned 6, right? You can also use the minus to subtract two numbers. These are just basic math operations that everyone knows. So 4 minus 2 is 2. Let's talk about the interesting part now. Division using a forward slash. You all know that 4 divided by 2 is 2, but this division is returning 2.0. So it is returning a float. If you want to return a whole number or an integer from a division, you have to use the floor division with the two forward slashes. So this floor division will return an integer or a whole number. So if you run our file again, it will divide 4 by 2. 2 goes 2 times into 4, and it returns 2, which is a whole number. So if you want to return an integer after dividing two numbers, you'll have to use this floor division, which has two forward slashes. And otherwise, if you want to return a decimal point number or a float, you can use one forward slash, and that's the difference between this division and this floor division. This floor division returns an integer, and this division returns a float. So let's talk about the rest of our operations. You also have multiplication using asterisk to multiply two numbers. So you can use asterisk to multiply 4 by 2. So 4 by 2 is obviously 8, which we have it right there. We also have exponent, and we use exponent when you want to raise a power to a number, and we do that by using two asterisks. This is like saying 4 raised to the power of 2. Let's run our file. 4 raised to the power of 2 is 16. Hopefully we get 16, and we have it right there. And our last arithmetic operator is modulus, and we use modular when you want to return the remainder of two numbers after dividing them. And we do that using the percentage sign. For example, if you want to return the remainder of 4 and 2 after dividing it, it will return 0 because there will be no remainder, and 2 goes into 4 2 times perfectly. So let's have a number that will give us a remainder, maybe 7 into 2. This will give us a remainder. So 2 goes into 7 3 times, and there will be 1 left over, which is the remainder that has been returned. Let's also check maybe 15 into 7. 15 modulus 7 will return 1 because 7 goes into 15 2 times, and there will be 1 left over. Let's try 16. 16 modulus 7 will return 2 because 7 goes into 16 2 times perfectly, and there will be 2 left over, and it will return that 2 remainder. The most common use case of this modulus operator is to check whether a number is an even number or an odd number. Let's try an example. For example, if you want to check whether this 16 that's stored in this num variable is an odd number or an even number, we will say if num modulo 2 is equal to 0. By this we mean that if this 16, when it has been divided by 2, if it returns 0, print to the screen that that is an even number. Because any number that's divisible by 2 will return 0, and if that number is not divisible by 2, it will return a remainder. Else, if that number returns a remainder, print to the screen that that is an odd number. I know we have not covered this if-else statement yet, but we are going to cover it in our upcoming videos. So even if you don't understand it right now, don't worry, we're going to cover it. So what we are trying to say is, if this 16 is divided by 2, returns 0, that's an even number. Otherwise, if it returns a remainder, that is an odd number. Let's run our code. It will print even number because 16 is divisible by 2. And what Python does is that it first checks the condition in our if statement, and if this condition becomes true, it will run the code that is within that if statement and ignore the else part. And if this condition in our if part becomes false, it will proceed to the else part and print the else part. So let's say we try a number that's not an even number, like 15. So it will check whether it's divisible by 2, and this condition becomes false, and it will proceed to our else part and print our else part, which is an odd number. And that's the end of this video. I hope you learned something. See you in the next video.